Hey guys, it's Nutcase, and today I'm doing a tutorial video. I'm not a teacher, so I can't promise this is going to be amazing, but here we go. So these are the three areas that I'm going to be referring to mostly are the layers, the marker tool, and my watercolor tool, which are here. So basically the red lines on the layers are all clipped layers, and we'll get to that while I'm actually working on stuff. So with the image, you start out with, for the shading, you need your flat color image. So you have your lines, your flat color, and the clipping layer that I clipped the colors onto. And so then I take a layer above the flat color layer and flood fill it with a color, usually something that will go with the palette. And so then I pick a little darker tone than that to do the darker shading, and I use white for like the lighter areas. And so what you do is you'll just like block in some of the darker areas, so like where the shading is going to be like where the shadows are really dark. So like behind your back where the wings are, under the legs, under the chin, things like that. And then you're going to take the watercolor tool, which I had listed in the beginning, and just kind of blend. And that's really the basic of how you will do this. And so this is skipped ahead a little bit, and this is where I've done the dark, and then I've started adding white. And so the whole idea behind the way I shade is where the white is whenever you put the layer on the multiply layer, it will be the color of the flat color below it. And so the colored, like on this one that's like a pinkish red, will be the shading, and so it'll show like darker areas on the picture. And so wherever the white is, the true color will show through, and so it'll be lighter and the other areas are shaded. Now, normally I have a point where like the light is coming from, but for this image I didn't really. I just kind of did a generic area, probably like in the front, like in front of her. And so I was just picking lighter areas that would be like on the front of her more than on the back of her. And so that's where I was adding the white to and blending and whatnot. And so that's really what I do. I do it on the regular layer like this first before making it multiply, so I can see where all the colors are, because sometimes like you'll see it better this way and you'll see like areas that you haven't shaded or whatever, because sometimes your flat colors will be darker, but this way I feel like it makes it look more cohesive and even. And so I do it like this just so I can see the colors as I'm blending them. And that's also why I use the 3-color method, basically, so I can get a lot of tones and values out of just this multiply shading layer. Now, how I do the hair is I do, like, I select it all. The blue is actually not a blue color, it's a select tool. And so that's what I'm doing in here. I'm going in and selecting all of the hair, which you can see that like I've shaded on into like while doing the horns and on the face and stuff. And so basically the idea behind doing this is we'll have just the area that I've selected working on, and what I do is I redo the base layer and then using the marker tool add the shading layers to make it just more like fluid and more like fluffy looking, like how hair does. So it looks kind of like it mimics strands instead of having to draw each individual strand of hair. And so I do the basic tone that I do for the whole shading layer, and then I use the darker tone as well, and then I also use the white to come in and make it brighter and everything. But one of the things about making it selected like this is, as you can see, I can work around the horns and the face and stuff, and like the ear later, like as you're doing the strokes to make it look like hair, it doesn't get in the way, it doesn't go over into the, you know, skin or horn or anything like that. And so you can get nice even strokes and just make it look like the hair is flowing from one end to the other. So that's why I do the selection like that. It just makes it easier. And like if you had a fur texture that you wanted to do, this could also be worked in like that, like for like a fur collar or something like that. And that way you could get like more fluffy looking instead of the flat kind of softer shading that the rest of the image has. Now from here, what we're going to do is we're going to make this the multiply layer. So we set, after we do a little bit of touch-ups, I just like saw some things and it's like, okay, yep, there we go. So we set it as multiply, get rid of the sketch layer, And then I do my first overlay layer, which is going to be just a block highlight. And so I set that, and I just start softly with white, just adding highlights. You can do yellow, whatever color really you want to make your highlights. But this way it just brightens up the image just a little bit from the shading. And then I, on top of that, set another overlay layer that I do more details. So like I do like hair shine, eye shine, lip shine, things like that. So things that are going to be more stark of a shine than it just the basic like highlight areas. So I will add those in on another layer just to give them a little bit more pop. Because, you know, like spikes are shiny and eyes need to have a little bit of shine, and fingernails and stuff like that. So that just helps it pop a little bit more. And really, after that, the final touch that I do sometimes is I make colored lines, and so this is where you'll set your line layer as multiply, and then you make a clipping layer on top of the lines, and you just use the color from like the shaded area as the new color for the line, and you just draw it on that overlay, the clipped layer to the line layer. That way you get a little bit of colored lines, and well, that's pretty much it. That's how I go from flat color to full color with my shading. I didn't include the background details in this because it's literally just triangles. I think you guys can probably figure out how to draw triangles. If you guys do like this tutorial and would like to see other things, how I work on stuff, just let me know down in the comments below, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!